Just want to check now. Is it better?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Perfect, perfect.
Yes,
All right. Just
now
one.
it's correct. Now
All
it's
right.
clear.
Perfect. Just one quick second. So, so a quick introduction about myself before we get started. Uh, Pretty much, I'm sure like I do know some of the names here in the list, but yes, there are other participants whom probably I'll be interacting for the first time. Some people are with us from the green belt. So just want a quick check. How many of us have already done a green belt before, or like rather a right question would be: is there anyone who hasn't done the green belt first and probably has migrated to a fast track program for a black belt directly?
No.
Uh, Anyone? So my understanding here, like, so I haven't received any other uh, yes or no otherwise. Like, I guess everyone has completed the green belt. Everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Ye-
Perfect. Then
Yes.
that's that would be then pretty easy. Just want to make
Ye- yes, sir.
perfect. Perfect. Great. Great. So so my name is Shashi Prakash. As I'm sure, like some of the name, as I said, I do recognize. We have like dealt in the green belt, but yes, some participants might have been trained probably some with some other institution or probably by some other trainer within IMC. So my name is Shashi Prakash, and I'm a master black belt, and I am only into Lean Six Sigma. So technically, I have over 19 plus years of work experience, and I would have trained roughly over by now like 6,000 odd people on various belts of Six Sigma, starting from a white belt, then moving on to the yellow belt, green belt, black belt, and as well as master black belt courses. Uh, I'm a registered PMP certified professional, so I just look into Six Sigma projects and consulting. Thanks to COVID, things are standstill, but yes, still we are. I'm currently working on a couple of black belt projects for a couple of European clients. We're doing it virtually, but yes, it's a weird thing. But yes, we're still managing to work on Six Sigma projects virtual mode, which ideally used to be on a physical client location. The most of the institute, like if I talk about my engagements with various institutions within India or for that matter outside India. So primarily within India, I've kind of covered like most of the IITs and IIMs, the biggest name in the. We do these trainings there. I've been doing all the trainings practically for Qatar University, for the government and probably the corporates. Everything gets trained through Qatar University only. With been working with the Dubai like Electricity and Water Authority for their trainings and stuff. So practically, it's just more to do with the Six Sigma projects only. So see, I come from a service industry background, and the reason why I'm telling you all this stuff because the kind of clients that we cater to today, uh, they come from every possible industry. Like you name the industry, and we have people. We have catered to those industries, be it hospitality, healthcare, your IT, BPOs, manufacturing, textile, chemical industry, ports. Practically name the industry, and we would have worked there thanks to Six Sigma. That's what it does to you. So if you have the concepts clear, there is no looking back because every industry, every organization has challenges. Every organization has processes which needs improvisation. And if you have got your concepts clear, again, whether you're coming from an operations background or you're from marketing, finance, doesn't matter. Again, whatever department domain you may be working in, you still will be able to utilize your knowledge, your skills, and bring about the difference. So when we deal with the key stakeholders of an organization, so CEOs, CXOs, and we hear about the challenges, see there are a lot of other tools which we can use to solve business problems. So we have Agile, we have your ISOs, basic project management tools and techniques also, and there are tons of them practically. But Six Sigma happens to be a primary choice for most of these stakeholders. Why? Because it fits in every sphere. And once you have implemented a Six Sigma project and you've gained the expertise, you can reutilize this knowledge and skills in improvising something else within the organization. So you've done a project in quality, you can use the same knowledge, material that you created in your quality. You can improve your operations work. You can do projects in HR. So it helps you to kind of develop and reutilize the information with lesser cost. And as you get more matured as an organization, you tend to reap more and more benefits out of Six Sigma. So that's how I'm sure like you all must have, because you've done your green belt, you must have try to at least start utilizing that knowledge somewhere. It's just about getting into the project mode, and see the concepts will get better. So keeping the fact in mind that we all come from different backgrounds, different industries, we'll be trying to ensure that the examples, the references that we talk about, they're very generic so that we can understand the concept right, and everyone gets to understand. Because if we go in a particular industry related example, then it's sort of some people may feel neglected, would not understand and correlate with it. So objective is to make sure that the concept gets clear, and then practically this entire world is yours, every industry is your, and given the current situation, because of COVID situation, every organization is like, the biggest concern is their cost crisis, cost reduction. So the demand of Six Sigma professionals have gone really, really high now. We've kind of turning down the request for projects in various institutions because we can't handle them, too many of them. So that's the situation right now. So yes, I would like to kind of welcome you all for taking up this program, because definitely it gets better with time, and you will be able to increase your chances of doing well in your career going forward. But yes, please, my only expectation from you all would be to ask questions, because when you ask questions, your concept gets clear. Please do not hesitate asking questions, because if that happens, then technically we have a problem there. So the more questions you ask, we will be able to make sure this entire session is fruitful for every one of you. You all have taken out valuable time out of your busy schedule. You've invested money, more than the money. I would care about the time. So please utilize that, and the best way to utilize that is by asking question. And trust, there's no question which is irrelevant. If it comes to your mind, rather than parking it and like, well, if you have a question, please ask it. You can unmute yourself. You can use the chat option. If I'm able to cover, I'm going to cover it in coming slides and coming time. So I will let you know, but don't keep it to yourself. So that's the only expectation I have from you, every one of you. I hope that's a fair expectation.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Yes,
And
definitely.
yes, perfect, great. And the sessions are being recorded. Yes, so you will have access to these recordings. So IMC team, or well, I don't have access to these recordings. I have similar access as you guys have. So yes, whenever the sessions get they get over, so I guess the IMC team will be sharing the recordings with you all. So honestly, I don't have access, but yes, as a general practice, whenever the session gets over, they keep sharing the recordings with you all. So you will be able to get this recordings from the concerned point of contact at IMC. Now, that's pretty much about my introduction. But before we get going with the actual material, because now we are talking about a black belt. Now, let's get equipped, and let's get the mindset right. Uh, you will be as a black belt dealing with more complex situations, and you need to get into the mode of understanding the project, dealing with the projects, dealing with challenges. So a sample project. So I'm not sure like people from Greenbelt who have gone through my training would have seen this, but I'm just showing it to you. This was done by a participant. This is not the real project, but this is done by a participant. So that's how a real project would also look like. So I will be able to share the data. You can, and that's how it will happen in your real world. You will have your management come up to you with a challenge, or you might seek problems within the organization to see where we can apply Six Sigma. You've gone through the training, you've got required skills, but how do I implement it? You got to find projects. Either the management reaches out to you, or you find projects and propose the management, well, this is what we can do. So how do you execute it? So the big question is, when you go through these job interviews during the recruitment process, the recruiter is looking for a couple of things. A certificate, definitely yes. That's the eligibility criteria. You should have done a green belt or a black belt certification. So practically, that's where I'm sure everyone will be able to score well. Job done. That's the entry to sit in a job interview. But now, when you're facing your recruiter, what is your recruiter looking for? Nobody wants to hire somebody and then have somebody to get trained on the job. No, everyone wants ready material, ready people who can start with improvement stuff right from the day one. So yes, every recruiter understands that we would like to have experienced people, but experienced people in Six Sigma comes with a very heavy price tag. Six Sigma professionals are very, very expensive. So, generally, every recruiter understands that not every organization would have a Six Sigma culture. So, not everyone would have gone through a project. So, they understand the importance of a simulation project. So, simulation project is what I'm going to show here. And one of my participants who completed the simulation project, actually based on this project itself, this person was hired at a very, very high. That's why I have been using this as a reference. I'm talking about recent one. So somebody was interviewed and was asked this question, like, have you worked on a project? Now the question is no. Practically, if I have not done a project before, it's absolutely okay. Yeah, we haven't. We have just done the certification. We haven't done a project, but yes, we have done a simulation project. Now, if you have done a project, you can talk about it. The recruiter will get confidence that this person just does not have a theoretical knowledge, but also has the practical understanding of how a project needs to be done. So if they give you the data, can you analyze the data right then and there? If you have done it, yes, you know it. So that's the confidence they are looking for. And if you have done a simulation project, there's no looking back. You will be able to carry out a real world project also. So just quickly want to show it to you, navigate through this simulation project so we know how it looks like. Uh, so some problem statement which the management would have shared or you could have figured out. Basis that you start with your projects. You collect voice of customer. So keeping in mind, we all know we have gone through the green belt part of it. Some affinity diagram, Kano model. So different tools are there. This is the ISO 13053 prioritization matrix. We'll be sort of covering everything back again because a black belt does have a part of green belt, so can't get rid of that. So will be sort of like a recap for you all. A CTQ drill down tree, the project charter, your SIPOC or COPIS, whatever you call this, a process map, the communication plan, the RACIC chart or RACI chart, whatever you deal, like you can choose RACIC or RACI, it's all fine. Then the measure phase, your fishbone diagram, sample size calculation, the data collection plan, your measurement system analysis, because it's a like a simulation data, a dummy data. Practically, you would not have the data for MSA. Normality testing, your graphical summary, data box plot, randomness test. Well, that's the sigma level calculation part we talked about in the green belt. So all the statistical testing starts here. So we'll just run through these quickly before we. Now, this is where we would have figured out what's my real root causes, which is causing the business problem. And then we move on to the improve phase where we get into finding the solutions. And with various tools and techniques, we finally figure out what will be the solution I will be working on. Risk management plan gets in picture, which is FMEA. Then your target validation test will start, before and after test will start. Control charts, sigma level before and after. This is all cost benefit analysis, before and after analysis that you're showing to the management. Finally, your control charts and control plan. So that's how a real project will also be worked out. So if you've done a project and this project has been done basis this data, the data is there. Some participant use this data, create this project. So if you work on a project, you share it with me, I'll be more than happy to kind of review and approve. Or you have a written approval that yes, it meets the criteria for a simulation project as a Six Sigma simulation project. So I'll be more than happy to share that. Then please go ahead and put it on your resume and you're good to go. That adds as an experience. So it helps a lot. So I would definitely want you all to work on projects and share project sample. Probably there might be some corrections required. Yes, I'll let you know if it's not correct or probably something needs to be improvised. I'll let you know this is not correct and this is what it should have been. So you'll go through. There'll be some documentation which will be there. So it's nice. So you have some documented evidence that you did work on something. So you never know who probably your recruiter might ask for a validation. So you can share that email also. So from that perspective, it's good to have some documentation there. So I hope that's the level I would like to have at the end of by the end of the training session, the entire training program. Everyone to have that level of expertise that should you have the data, you can carry out the project. So I hope everyone would have like I'm sure everyone would have similar expectations. Once you complete this project, you complete the training, you should be able to have a skill set that you can actually translate and use it in real world, just not another paper certificate which just gets on your resume and which we never use. So well, honestly, I've done a lot of trainings, but I'm sure like we all can relate with it. How many trainings we actually utilizing in our real world to make money probably? So that's what I would like to kind of ensure, that this is just not another paper certificate. So yes, the best part is have a tangible outcome as a project out of this training. So I hope there's no discrepancy in terms of understanding or anyone has any conflicts. If you have any questions, please do ask before we get going. Anyone has any questions? Any questions? Okay, I guess we are good then. All right, so let's get.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
uh, sir, I have already completed a green belt, and
Right.
now I am started black belt. Already I am taking class from you also in green belt, and thereafter I talked to IMC and I told him, yeah, please when you start the classes, please join me in your class.
Okay, great. Thanks. So, so
But
yes.
sir, I have one question to you. You told just now you told after complete the courses and we can put my the name where I am completed Six Sigma, Black Belt, Green Belt, my resume, then I can get the profit also. Sir, already I completed my green belt, already
Mhm.
I completed. But still now I am not getting any project. So how could I implement my knowledge?
No, so
Because
the data say at a green belt level. So like I'm sure even in this stage, this training program, we might will have the data which will be so at a black belt level. You are supposed to carry out some projects. That's what is the need at a black belt level. So I'm sure like the IMC team will be like we already the conversation is there. So I'm sure will be some a day will probably will be added where we go through some simulation stuff, and I'll be sharing some data so you all can work on the project. And then when you kind of it will take some time to complete the project. So even after your training is over, you will require some time to work on the project and submit it. So I'll share, you can submit it with IMC, and they I can review it with them, or you can send it directly to me, so whatever works. So bottom line, you will have your projects to be worked on. So at a green belt level, there's not too much of exposure to execute a project there. But yes, from a black belt project level, yes, you definitely need to manage green belts also. So you need to have yourself that understanding how a project needs to be managed or done. So you'll get the data. So for sure. So
okay, sir.
that's the answer. I'll be sharing data for you to work on the
Okay, sir.
project with the problem. I'll tell you the problem, and basis the problem, you have to recreate a project in your language, in your words, the way you want it. But bottom line, everyone will have a different style of sharing it, and that's fine. That's how it has to be.
And sir, I have one request to you.
Yes, please.
Sir, after the classes, you please give us some question, maybe 5%, 10%, whatever in your mind. And that will be, I think that will be increase our study and that will be help for me to problem what you take the classes.
Okay. So we do have something of that sort already in place. So we all know the phases now. So we'll have some questions, we'll be sharing a link where you'll have questions of, say, once you complete the define phase, you'll have the questions related to define phase, which you can attempt there. You'll have an idea of what kind of questions can come from define phase. So at every phase, there will be, end of every phase, there will be a questions which will be based on that phase content. So you will be going through those periodic assessments so you can continue working on it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks. Anyone has any other question?
I am sorry, just a question more. Are the projects graded, included in the final grade?
No, no, honestly not. So this is, see, there are two aspects. One, for certification, it's not a mandatory requirement to have your projects done. This is just over and above, just to make sure that you gain the best out of it. Because can you get the job offer letter after completing your black belt certification? Yes. Would it be better if you have a project done? Definitely yes. So I have like you will always have an upper edge from a person who just has a certificate where you have done, plus you, in your case, when you have done a simulation project also. So so it will has no relation. So it's a parallel thing. If people may or may not do, so it's not a contingency criteria for your certification.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. So I guess we all good now. So we can get started. So we before we move ahead, I'll sort of quickly talk about these links. So I will be updating some information there already. So this is one link where I will be sharing, like you can access this link. There's some material already there, which you can download, and I will be adding some more material in that Google Drive. So let me click on this Google Drive here. So please save this link, because this link will be valid throughout a training session. I will be adding more material here in this Google Drive. So I will be using this information here. So this some material which is there, but plus I will be adding some more material in this folder. So in like post this weekend, so before like we have class on Monday, I'll during the weekend I will add some more material here which you can download. So that's the area where we'll have all the study material, data files, templates, trackers, everything. I'll add it here only. So next will be another different folder so that it doesn't get mixed up. So please do download this entire folder on your local system. Just download when you get the link, download it. So you don't have to always keep accessing this link. Download it on your local drive. That's the link number one. Now, during the training period, I use this Excel as notes. So I will be working on this Excel. I'll keep sharing the updated Excel on this Google Drive link. Whenever we are done with the training session, I will share the notes at the end of every day whenever the training gets over in this folder. Right now, there's nothing in here because post today's session, I'll place this Excel file in this particular folder. So every time when we work on it, I'll keep sharing the updated one. So you don't probably, if you want to still make notes, please do that. But yes, I will be working on it. I will be making notes at my end. So I'll share the notes in this Google Drive every time. Uh, Next is Minitab. Now, Minitab, we will be working on extensively. Uh, you don't need to download Minitab right now. Please don't download because it comes with 30 days free trial version. So wait, I will definitely let you know when to download because we'll still need some time to get to that stage where we start working on Minitab. So please just park it for now. Don't download Minitab so that otherwise we'll lose on the time. So these are the three links for now. Please make a note of these links. I hope everyone has got it. That's pretty much what we have before we get started. So now we can get started. So I will definitely, keeping in mind everyone has gone through the green belt training already. We'll straight away jump into the content rather than building up the case here about Six Sigma and stuff like that. So yes, quickly going back to the slides, basic, because see, initial data will be any which is a green belt. So if you talk about the journey from green belt to black belt, so your 60% of your black belt is technically your green belt. The remaining portion is now whatever we didn't cover in the green belt is the remaining portion which will get added in the black belt. So yeah, so a lot of things will any which ways be repeated because you're going through the journey from beginning till end. Because it's quite possible somebody might be joining in who may be directly going for a black belt up in a step up program. So we'll start from scratch. We'll go till the end as of whatever is required at black belt level. So first thing first, what is the definition of quality as per your understanding? If you are sitting through a job interview and some recruiter asks you a question, what is quality? What is the definition of quality as per you? Yes, please. What do you mean by quality?
Anything which is any output which is up to the customer standard,
Okay.
or anything, any output which is delivered as per the requirement from the customer's point of view.
Perfect. So whatever is meeting, if it's meeting the customer's expectations, you're saying that's quality. Is that correct?
Yeah.
One has any other perspective of quality?
Definition wise, I will say it is an inherent characteristic of a product or service as
Mhm.
per the fulfillment for the fulfillment of requirement of client or customer.
Yeah. So in the end, like, so if your products or services requirement, the characteristics or features are meeting those expectations of the customer, we'll say that's quality. That's what we talk about. So if your product or service meets client expectation, it's that's what we will be talking about is quality. So the features, if it meets the client expectation in terms of the quality of the product or services associated with the quality associated with service, I will say the product has good quality. Now, the definition of quality is so debatable because it's like, for say you go to a coffee shop and you order a coffee. Now, the definition of quality would be different for you and it will be different for me. I prefer dark coffee, and you probably would prefer something else, little light. I may prefer extra sugar, and you may prefer probably no sugar. Things change. I mean, the definition of quality will drastically change from customer to customer. And that's what, so your definition is definitely correct. And without any two ways to it, yes, that is correct. But there was a big concern, like when initially the quality drive happened, people had challenges in understanding what should we say, what should we do about quality, because different people will come with different expectations, and then they would define the quality in their own means. So we can't be criticizing ourselves for, because there are so many customers and every customer would want us to twist us as per their needs. So then pretty much that's what I will bring it down to. Joseph Juran was referred as father of quality. He's this gentleman uh, introduced the sort of first official definition where it sort of gave some sort of relief to the people in like from in the manufacturing or service industry, uh, to at least understand what is, when do we call something as it's a quality product or quality service. As with this gentleman, if a product or service meets what are following features or following expectations, it is quality. Bottom line, that's the it meets the quality standards. Number one, it should serve the purpose for which it was created. Number one. Number two, it you should offer only that much which the customer would value. Now, can anyone sort of please just take a lead here and sort of help me understand what do we mean by the first and the second statement? Anyone wants to pitch in?
Well, it's mainly to meet the goals of an organization. This is maybe the first one.
Okay. Uh, so when you say it should serve the purpose, see, the customer can come and ask you for any different things. So say, for example, I buy like a fan, and I am expecting the fan to give me the feeling or the comfort of an air condition. Well, am I being unrealistic? Yes. So till the time the fan is giving me the services of fan and it's giving me pleasant cool air, not the feeling of air condition, because it was not supposed to be air condition. It's a fan. It should give me the feeling of a fan. So till the time it is serving the purpose for which it was created, it is good, because customers can be unrealistic. So don't criticize yourself unnecessarily, because customers can be weird in their expectations. So let's understand, if your product or service meets those basic requirements for which it was created, it is good product. That's what at least gives some bit of respite, some sort of help to the people to understand. Let's baseline if it's meeting the expectations, because customers will come with different expectations. We should strike a perfect balance there. What is if it's meeting the expectation, it's good product. Second, when you said you should offer only that much to the customer which the customer would actually value. Anyone would like to sort of pitch in here?
Like don't offer too less to the customer, offer too
Too
much to the
less to the
customer.
customer. Here it's like it's only that. Here we're
Value.
talking about we don't want to give too much
Offer
to the customer.
too much more.
Don't offer too much. This is the other way around. We're trying to say that don't offer too much to the customer which he or she would not value. It's the other way around. Now let's take a simple example. I wanted to buy a shirt, and I go to a shop, and this guy gives me, and I need a say black shirt, and this guy gives me like that you can get this shirt for say $50, and there I believe it is when you buy this one shirt for $50, you'll get five more black shirts exactly the same size, exactly the same color. Uh, would you be happy about that? Is there something wrong with it?
No, of course I would be happy.
You'll be happy taking five or six, technically six black shirts, exactly the same size. Do you
But
need?
it should be the same price, then it will be happy.
Would you still be happy? Like, so does it like sound fishy? You paying for one. This guy's offering you exactly the same stuff, like six more or five more. Does it like something fishy with it? Why would somebody
Maybe
offer
the
you?
quality is compromised. That's why they are offering six shirts
It
at
is
the
sort
price
of,
of one.
yes, it raises alarm. I'm sort of trying to do too much. I'm trying to give extra to my customer, but yes, I won't value it. I will start doubting it. I will try to I would suspect the quality of the product, and because that raises alarm. Why are you offering give me five extra? This is where probably I'm trying to do it with a good gesture, but it doesn't work fine. Probably you go to a fine dining restaurant after this say COVID time, like you've been kind of confined at home. Now you go to a fine dining restaurant with your family and friend. You want to sort of spend good time with them. Now this waiter takes escorts you from the door, gives offers you the seat, and then takes your order. And you sort of give like some list of order. This is what I need, and this guy goes to the kitchen. In 2 minutes, he gets the food on your table, and right is standing next to you while you're having food, and you're talking to your friends and family, and he's right there on your head, just to make sure that if you need something, you don't have to search for anyone, and he's right there. Are you happy with this? The guy, is this something wrong with this entire situation?
Yes,
No,
this is wrong.
no. See, one question. So something there is something called as customer delight, right?
Right.
Uh, what customer is expecting in this scenario, we are trying to provide little more than what he is expecting. So
Right.
it again depends on customer to customer. Like some will say, yeah, really, I'm very happy. Some will,
Right.
as you mentioned, some
Mhm.
will say why they are giving more.
Yes. So I'm trying to I have gone to a fine dining restaurant. Within 2 minutes, how can you prepare the food? It has to be late. It will be. So you go to fine dining restaurant, that means you have to wait for good 30-40 minutes because they prepare everything fresh. First of all, how could you manage to get the food within 2 minutes on my table? That's the big question. And now, second, I am trying to have a conversation with my family, with my friends. You standing on my head, you kind of invading my privacy. Well, too much is too bad also. So we have to kind of understand we should only give that amount of like so we there's always you want to delight your customer, but there has to be some limit where you need to understand beyond which it gets too irritating for the customer. You go to shopping mall with somebody, just some salesman is right after your life to help you with something when you don't need. Well, if I need some help, I'll ask you. Well, that's what again these guys this when you talk about Joseph Iran, he sort of tried to formulate at least some official definition which sort of helped the people across the world to come up with some formal understanding how a quality, how should we rate a quality, like product quality or service quality, keeping at least these criteria, right, would work fine for some time before, after which, like, this was definitely pushed back, and so it was taken over by those economist theory. So economist theory. So sort of giving a quick background about this, basic backgrounds about why, because some recruiters do have this problem, and they would get into some bit of history also. So you should know the journey, how it sort of moved from one phase to another. So this economist theory is also referred as push theory. The push theory logic is like, as a manufacturer, you must produce as much as you can, and it will create its own demand. So that was the time when the world was going through industrial revolution, and people, as a manufacturer, they were like, this theory prevailed for good 2 decades, where around 1930s to 1950s time frame, people, the manufacturers globally were into this mode of push theory: produce as much as you can, go for full capacity production. Why? Because if you produce more, it will create its own demand, and that's what was used. People had lesser options, and they used to produce, like, and the objective was that it will get consumed on its own, it will create its own demand, so it will be taken care of. But yes, it didn't work out fine, but over a period of time, things were sort of, it started hurting them rather than helping them out. It started hurting them, because they used to kind of pile up a lot of inventory. People, when see, it was a manufacturer driven market, so if it was not consumed today, it will get consumed like in a 6 months or a 1 year time frame. Things changed with time. Customer became the king. Like, so just to kind of add on to it, like, can you name some big brands which were really big? They had complete monopoly in the market, but you don't see them today.
Kotak
Kodak
cameras.
cameras,
No,
yes. Kodak,
Nokia.
Nokia, without any doubt, yes. These guys were giant. They had monopoly in the market. But yes, they were great at one point in time. But unfortunately, they could not sustain this competition, and because this market is a dynamic market. Earlier, because there were not many options, customer had no choices. They would just end up buying whatever was available. But things change. Customers shape, behavior change, the paying pattern change, the generations change, and there was a need of, so the transition happened. Unfortunately, those companies who could not change their product or services as the changing, with the changing dynamics of the market, they couldn't compete with the market, and then you don't see them today. And that's what brings us to the model which actually is prevailing even now, Kano model. Can anyone sort of help me with Kano model? This is what the current market is working on.
So, Canna
This is it.
model gives information like what is the level of customer expectation and what is the level of customer delight. Like there will be a
Okay,
scale
somewhat.
in between those two areas. That's what.
Okay, somewhat around those lines. Anyone else wants to add in? This is what the current market is working on. The Kano model logic is still what it works on. Anyone? Okay, so basically, when we talk about Kano model, it redefined the
Works on
entire. Yes, yeah, right.
yeah. So Kanu model it's work on customer demand
Mm-hmm.
and like to again to fulfill the customer expectation.
Yes. So there are three criterias basis which Karno model works. Right? So when you talk about Karno model, it tries, like, when we do a Karno model, we try to assess and understand what's changing in the market. It is the model which helps you to keep yourself updated with the market trends, and that's what, like, nowadays when we talk about the current market dynamics globally, people are following the logics which are baked in by Karno model. So as per the definition of quality, this is what currently, this is what the logic works with in terms of definition of quality. A product or service will be called as quality product or service, basically, if it meets the following. Number one, the stated needs of the customer. Number two, unstated needs of the customer. And number three, its delighters. These are three parameters on which Kano model works. And we will be talking about this Kano model as we go ahead, because this is one thing which we will be using in real world in the projects. It will get used when we want to prioritize. If we were looking at a sample project, it was there. Like even that sample project we were talking about, it was there, and this is practiced across industry. So whatever we talk, this is the Kano model. So we will talk about this when we get into the define phase part of it. It is going to be used. It is used in like when you do a survey, you want to find out the project, you want to select the project, you use Kano model. What are the challenges we will be working on? You use Kano model to filter out, to find out which is the most critical problem you will be working on. So Kano model helps you to figure out what is that we need to work on given the current dynamics of the market. So we'll sort of and understand in this in detail. But just want to make sure that we understand the journey, how it traveled from your quality. The definition of quality has kind of sort of moved over a period of time from the basic definition to the one which is currently in use. Now, if I talk about the Kano model from the here on, say the time of your Lean and Six Sigma journey, sort of. So we had something in between. If we talk about other metrics like your benchmarking, your which is like the competitive benchmarking, product benchmarking, a lot of benchmarking options were there. We had we talked about the re-engineering concepts and a lot of stuff, but things over a period of time sort of we got the refined version of project metrics which were defined, and finally we got the Lean and Six Sigma, so as to say. So we will connect with the Lean Six Sigma now. With this being said, now Lean, I would like to understand what is the basic definition of Lean as per your understanding.
Hello.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, when you talk about lean, it's actually a principle
Hmm.
to eliminate waste or non-value adding in your process.
Okay. So eliminate waste which are non-value adding in the process, and that's absolutely correct. Anyone has any other perspective? Anyone else has any other perspective about Lean? Which is correct. This is correct. That's what we.
Eliminating waste from the process to increase
Increase
the
in the
efficiency.
efficiency.
You can
Okay. So, okay, if I were to ask you a question, if we implement Lean, what does it work on? Does it improve the efficiency of the process, or does it increase the effectiveness of the process?
efficiency.
efficiency of the process.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So,
Efficiency of the project.
perfect. So I'll sort of redefine this just to keep in mind the recruiters. See, honestly, recruiters are very, very finicky about. So, and these recruiters are not Six Sigma professionals. So, whatever has been feeded to them, if you don't give all the words to them, your answer will still be incomplete, even if you're making sense. So, I'm sort of redefining, just reworking on this definition. It's identification and elimination of waste from the process to increase efficiency without compromising on quality of product or service.
Uh,
Yeah.
Prakash, I have
Yes, yes. Srinath, hello.
no model. There is something called as a basic expectation, then unstated needs and delators. So the
Y-
basic expectation is nothing. Basic expectation is nothing like a minimum viable product which has been
Yes,
expected by the customer, and
yes,
unstated needs are like a value adds which is going to be a good to have kind of a in the product or in the service, and delators are like he never expected, but something like in today's world what we have as a mobile banking,
yes.
that's something like a value add, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But and we'll sort of take up example, and we'll try to kind of like, because there's some more synonyms of this, so we should know all the names like the basic. We call them competitive curve and all those. So we will kind of go we'll basically we'll because we just kind of took the basic definition. We'll because when we start with the define phase, it'll come will come with a this as a model which needs to be chosen to identify the project. So we'll be working on this in detail. We'll talk about that, but yes, definitely yes, that's what we talk about. There are certain basic needs which are then there are competitive requirements, they are delighters, and how does it, and this is a dynamic model. So we'll sort of come back to this in detail again.
Okay, okay.
All right. So from lean perspective, this is what we're talking about. Like it's identification. So keep this basic fundamental in mind. The reason why I'm saying so because I do recruitments. I know a lot of people who are into Six Sigma world who do recruitments, and what are the things which normally recruiters uh, do mark you down on if you don't give you the complete verbiage, complete stuff. So first of all, lean has to be, you have to first identify. So lean is all about identification and elimination of waste from the process to increase the efficiency. Why you do this? You don't want to compromise on the quality of your product or service. You when you want to implement lean, definitely you want to improve your efficiency, but not at the cost of your quality of your product or service. So you can't compromise because you want to implement lean. So recruiters are looking for a complete answer. So that's what we're sort of we're still talking about elimination of waste. Without any doubt, we're talking about the same thing, but all required elements has to be there. So just a quick check. If I have a process which has multiple steps A, B, C, D, E, F, say some process we have, and I am either making a product or I'm delivering a service. It start from A and go to left, all the various process steps. And just an hypothetical one, I take 10 days to complete the product or deliver the services. By the virtue of lean knowledge, we'll talk about lean on a separate day. We'll have lean topics covered. But bottom line, if you have knowledge of lean tools and techniques, first of all, with the knowledge of lean, you would like to understand: is this a waste? Is this a waste? So with the knowledge of lean tools, you try to first identify the waste. So say I figured out this step number B is a waste and step number E is a waste. Now, once you've identified, the next step is to eliminate them. Now your process, this is lean. Now your process is lean because now you are getting the same work done. You cut down the waste. You're not compromising the quality. Your product quality, service quality still remains the same. Because you cut down the unnecessary work, unnecessary steps, your process is, say, you're able to complete in 7 days. That's lean. Simple as that. Simplest definition I would give you here. That's lean. Lean is over cutting down unnecessary stuff which you are doing here. And while you do it, you don't want to compromise. So yeah, now you're able to finish the same work in 7 days. You have optimized the process. The efficiency of the process has gone better. So you have optimized in terms of cost, time, efforts, resources, say raw material and stuff like that. So a lot of information, everything, you would have optimized the process on all these fronts because you're doing the same work in lesser time. Time is money. Lean is all about time, just about time. So technically, when I'm talking about implementation of lean, what am I trying to look for? Can you deliver the product or service faster without compromising on quality? That's what I'm trying to check. When I'm implementing lean, this is all I'm looking for. Lean is all about time. All time related projects. If your management is giving you a project that we need to reduce the turnaround time, we need to reduce your client has been complaining about that you're not delivering on time related factor. It's all lean projects. When you do projects related to time, this is all what you're doing. So time related projects lean will always be around time. When you reduce the time, practically you're kind of optimizing on this all these fronts. You will see like a big result, big improvement with the virtue of lean. Now, one thing which is a big drawback with lean, lean will only help you fix up to certain extent. Some process you will be able to improve the efficiency of the process, the quality of the process up to a certain limit. It has limitations. Bottom line, when I say this can only help you remove and like eliminate, which is obvious waste, which is visible to you, which you can see, sense, which you can figure out that this is a challenge. You look at your process, you see this is a problem which you will feel irritated. Why are we doing this? With basic knowledge, you will be able to improve. So lean cannot get you a phenomenal improvement, yes, but lean is the base. Lean is the minimum requirement. Lean is not an option. Lean is hygiene. You must, whether you implement Six Sigma or not, that's a secondary story. It's an option. Lean is not an option. It's lean. People say we done a lean project. I would not say lean is a project. Sorry, lean is operations job. Operations job is what you do every day, day in day out. You go and do the same job. That's operations job every day. You have a same routine task. You do same job. That's operations task. In the language of project management, the definition of project is very simple. A project is a specific act, the task that you pick up, which has a definite beginning and definite end. It starts with an objective and you finish that objective, your project is over. Six Sigma is a project. You pick up a Six Sigma project with a task, which is the project. This is what I want to achieve. You start and you finish your project. Six Sigma project is over. Lean is not a project. Lean is what you do every day, come what may. It's basic hygiene. It can't be compromised. So lean sort of can help you. I'll say, and we'll understand about the gravity of it. So even if you master lean, I would say your process quality could go max, sort of max. I'm not giving you a hard code figure, but sort of max 99% kind of quality. Yes, I could get this with help of lean. Lean can get me because it is obvious visible waste which I can see in my process by the knowledge of lean. But yes, even if I'm able to get to 99%, one point in time it was great, but now, sorry, 99% is too bad. And that's what we need Six Sigma to take it from. So lean is the base on which Six Sigma will flourish. If your lean is weak, your Six Sigma will not work that efficiently. So lean will form the base, and then Six Sigma will take it from there. So beyond 99%, when you want to take it forward, that's when you need Six Sigma, a phenomenal achievement. 99% is too bad in the language of Six Sigma. So yes, lean is something which can help you get to this level. Beyond this, you need a Six Sigma level. But practically, is 99% that bad? Well, let's work it out. Let's understand. So that brings us to Six Sigma definition. Anyone wants to pitch in? What is the definition, or what do we mean by Six Sigma?
Six Sigma, it is a statistical approach to reduce the waste, to improve or increase the effectiveness.
Okay, so but not the waste there.
This is the
defects,
process
defects.
improvement initiations.
Variations is what I heard, and that's what I would like to. Six Sigma. When we talk about Six Sigma, it's, as you correctly said, it's a statistical approach. It is a statistical approach to reduce variation. Yes. When I write variation, I'll write down defect in the bracket, and we'll just, because we'll understand. We're like purposefully, I'm just mentioning when it's a statistical approach to reduce variation in order to increase effectiveness. That works on efficiency. This works on effectiveness of the process. So that's the basic difference between lean and Six Sigma. Lean works on efficiency. Six Sigma works on effectiveness of the process. So while we do this, yes.
So to add to this, in lean we will know what is the problem and what is the solution. Whereas
absolutely
to Six Sigma, we know the problem, but we don't know what is the solution. Through the
100%.
statistical approach, we will be able to identify how to tackle this problem.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes. Thanks a lot. Thanks. So yes, definitely yes. So lean, you'll always know the problem and you'll always know the solution. The reason why we need lean is to simplify it. It's too messy. Lean will help you clear the clutter, make it simple. Six Sigma will then take it forward to the next level. So that's what it is. Say in a very layman language, I'll sort of give you another example. Say somebody meets with an accident and has a wound that needs to be stitched. Now, before stitching, would you apply ointment and antiseptic to clean that wound? Yes, that is what is lean. So first the cleaning needs to be done. Lean needs to be implemented. Once you've cleaned the wound, then you can apply your Six Sigma, which is the stitching part. So Six Sigma will generally come in after your lean has been implemented. Lean is the base on which Six Sigma will flourish. So basic minimum requirement. for any process, whether you want to work on Six Sigma or not, but lean must be there in the process. Come what may, any industry doesn't matter. Lean must be there. So we'll and which we'll talk about lean on a, like a specifically. It's not complicated. It's very simple. But yes, unfortunately, because it's simple, it's highly ignored. Because we always get fascinated by like like those facts and figures and templates, trackers, sort of stuff. Lean is common sense, and unfortunately, that's very uncommon. So we will be able to see lean when we cover the lean topics. They are very simple. We all know it. It's just about doing the same boring task every day without fail and still loving it. That's what is lean. So when Six Sigma will be absolutely taking to a next level, that definitely calls for a big, like some sort of brainstorming, some work to be done. Lean has to be done flawlessly. It's easy, but needs to be done without fail, without interruptions. So we'll definitely come to that lean part of it. But coming back to the Six Sigma definition, now I said like it's a statistical approach to reduce variation. When I'm talking about variation, I've mentioned it's a defect. When you reduce the defect, what will happen? Your effectiveness will increase. So technically, when I'm saying effectiveness, what does it mean? Effectiveness is nothing other than the quality. The process quality will get better. So when I say if I appear for exam and I scored 99% marks, that's what it says. I am 99% effective. This is my 99% effectiveness, which is my 99% marks. That's what it means. Simple as that. What is my fail rate? My fail rate is 1%. That's it. 1% is fail rate, 99% is my quality or effectiveness. Now, Six Sigma, I'm sure like we all can share the number. What number do we associate with other than six? What is the number that is associated with Six Sigma? Performance level, if I say my process.
3.4 million per million
3.4 defect
opportunities.
per million.
DPMO.
Okay,
PMO.
3.4 DPMO,
Yeah.
3.4 defect per million opportunity. Now let's try to unrelate these facts, and you should remember these numbers again because recruiters do ask these questions very specifically. They're simple ones, and remember, recruiters, the first line of entry, they're not Six Sigma professionals, so they'd ask you simple questions because they can't get into too technical stuff. They have been given feeded a questionnaire which they understand. So 3.4 DPMO is 3.4 defects, 3.4 defects per million opportunity. We all know that, which is equal to what percentage? If anyone wants to explain it, that in percentage, what is the percentage rate here?
99.99966.
Thank you. Yes.
6%.
Yes, thanks. That's the correct one, which we got 99.699966%. That's the quality rate. So quality, the effectiveness in percentage. So not everyone would understand the language of Sigma level. So people who don't understand like language of Sigma level, you have to explain them in percentages. Or people who understand language of Sigma level, 3.4 DPMO. So we should know what performance level is this. Now, to understand this, we have to look at the basic definition here. When we say I scored 99% marks, should I be happy about 99% marks? Yes, it looks like a good number. But let's see how good or bad I am at 99%. When I say 99, that means 99 out of 100. What's my fail rate? 1 out of 100. If I make one defect, this is my defect rate, 1 out of 100. How many defects will I make in a million? If I have 1% defect rate, one defect out of 100, then how many defects out of million?
10,000.
Perfect. Yes. Now 10,000 defects. And now keep Six Sigma level next to it. Is 99% looking good now? That's the level of Six Sigma, and this is the level of 99%. This is 99% quality, and this is Six Sigma level quality. It's 99%, which was looking so good that we probably would celebrate if I had got 99% marks. Unfortunately, it's looking too bad. 10,000 defects as compared to 3.4. This is phenomenal, unbelievable, like quality percentage that we're talking about. So this is why Six Sigma is definitely a game changer. Again, lean could get you here. Yes, when you master lean, you could get here. But this is for you to get shift from this level to this level. Yeah, you need Six Sigma. Something unbelievable, expect like a phenomenal improvement in your process quality. It would be a Six Sigma level. But is this the best you can achieve, or there are industries which are working better than Six Sigma? Have you heard about anything better than Six Sigma before?
I think
Airlines industry.
airline industry or
Airline
healthcare
and
system.
Aviation.
medicine.
Yes, airlines, they're working around 12 Sigma level already. Your pharmaceutical industry, they are working around 10 to 11 Sigma already. These industries cannot work with Six Sigma.
Yep.
It's horrible for them. It's horrible. Six Sigma. But for barring these industries, which are critical industries, their life and death situation is at stake. Like one failure and then like a plane crash, it's a huge defect. Like it's you can't just like and work with the Six Sigma. If you know that out of 1 million flights that will take off, 3.4 flights will crash. Well, sorry, that's too bad. So technically, Six Sigma is not a good Sigma level for these industries. Why there's so much of hue and cry about COVID vaccine? Why can't you just make vaccine and just give it to everyone? Sorry, so many people can die if the vaccine is not good. It's not correct. Practically, there's so much of exposure here. So every single defect is a huge cost, and that's why these industries cannot work with Six Sigma. It's bad for them. Barring these critical industries, Six Sigma is a phenomenal. And like if I talk about industry average, is just around 3.5 Sigma. If you keep every other industry, keep these industries aside, get every other industry, get an average, it's about 3.5 Sigma, which the industry is working at, keeping every industry together. Now, just to kind of carry on from this one Sigma levels, so we have 0 Sigmas also. We have 1 Sigma, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Similarly, there are different Sigma levels that we have. These are different Sigma levels. So we have 11, 12, and this is never ending. This is a Sigma level scale. Sigma level scale. Similarly, we have -1, -2, -3. There is no, and this is just a scale. It tells you defect rate. It just, you have, it's just a scale. So you, when we talk about Six Sigma level, it says 3.4 defects per million opportunity. So every Sigma level, it tells you how many defects are there at a certain number of Sigma. So at Six Sigma level, we are saying that it has 3.4 defects in a million opportunity. So at every Sigma level, you will get to know certain, like when the defect rate is 50%, 50% defect rate, your Sigma level will be 0 Sigma level at 50% defect rate. That's what it is. Now, technically, if your defects are more than in your process, if your defects are more than 50%, more than 50% defects, Sigma will be negative. If your defects, if defects reduces, Sigma increases. So this is the path. If your defect levels goes down, your Sigma level will go up. And if your defects increases, your Sigma level will go down here. So that's how it works. Sigma level is just a defect measuring scale. It just tells you how good or bad you're doing. So if your defect increases, your Sigma level will go in negative. If it's more, it defect reduces, the Sigma level will be high. So higher the Sigma, better it is for the process. That means you're doing lesser number of defects. But if you have more than 50% defect rate in the process, you're bound to get into negative Sigma. So all Sigma, these are just, it's a remember this one thing, Sigma level is just a defect measuring scale, nothing else. It's a scale which tells you how many defects at a certain number of Sigma level. How to calculate this is very easy. I'm sure like we would have done this in the green belt, but we'll anyway is doing all, we'll sort of do a recap of all the Sigma level calculation methods. But for now, I hope we are all good with this. Everyone understands whatever we have covered. If you have any questions out of this, please do ask. Anything so far? Any questions?
No, fine.
Okay, all right. So moving on to the next bit of it, which is the history. How did it start? We won't require too much to deep dive into history per se, but yes, again, from recruitment perspective, some bit of basic knowledge is required because you never know what questions can be asked by the recruiter. So coming from history, how did the Sigma level, the lean and Six Sigma started? So basic whereabout we should know history of lean. How did it start? Not too much of deep dive because that's not what you'll do in real world. You won't be doing the history per se, but basic knowledge. It started with Henry Ford. So Henry Ford is the like these guys like Ford Motors, the CEO of Ford Motors, way back in I guess 1908 time frame. These guys recreated the way the manufacturing used to happen. Uh, so before these guys invented the model of like manufacturing, or probably recreated the model of manufacturing, earlier the products across not only the automotive industry, not only the cars, globally every other industry was used to work on crafts manufacturing. Crafts manufacturing was basically done when product, basically when we do a craft manufacturing, product was made at a place and people used to move used to move from one product to another. So in this case, they were sort of manufacturing cars earlier. So say one car is here, another car is here. So there were these guys like would like sort of park cars at different distances. So different cars were manufactured. So the person say who's fitting in bulb in a car would be moving with all the bulbs with himself or herself, and then will fit in the bulb. Then we'll move to the next car. When they'll move to next, somebody who's fitting in tires will move with all the tires. So it was so slow process. It was very slow, and there was so much of wear and tear. Because people used to drag all the spare parts from one car to another. It was a slow process and was used to create a lot of damage to the parts which were manufactured. It was slow. The reported numbers actually were that these guys were making roughly between 30 to 35 cars per month. That's what they used to manufacture. The only thing which these guys did, without increasing the manpower, they changed the way the manufacturing was done. So here, instead of craft manufacturing, they brought in the conveyor belt concept, what we today call as assembly line. Here, these were no longer cars. These were people who were made stationary. So say the person who's fitting a bulb will be here, somebody's fitting in tire who will be here, and so on and so forth. Now with the moving belt, the car used to move on a belt. So if I'm fitting in bulb, all the bulbs are right here. So I'll put in the bulb, and the car moves to the next person. The next car comes in front of me. This guy in the meantime will fit in the tire. So it speeded up the process. These guys did what? They did lean. They speeded up the process. They're because of the way because nobody was dragging material. It was a moving belt on the cars. They increased the production 3 to 4 times without increasing the manpower, just by changing the method. Earlier, people were moving and the product was stationary. In an assembly line, products started moving and people became stationary, which speeded the process. So that led to industrial revolution, or what you could say is mass production. They started producing huge volume of cars, like which they used to make about like 30 to 35 cars a month. They were producing over 100 cars per month, and they were like without any extra resources. And that's what they did lean. The word lean was not there. The word lean did not come from Ford, but what they did was lean. We know what is lean. Lean is all about time. So yes, they cut down the time. They were able to produce car at much faster rate without wastage, without damages done, and they were profitable, much profitable. Like world was like sort of still going into a crisis. These guys were shelling out bonuses to people because they were very profitable because the production increased. This logic sort of was copied by other industries in other areas also. It became like people stopped craft manufacturing a day. Everyone sort of tried to move on to the assembly line. This became popular thanks to Henry Ford, who thought differently. That's what it happened here. Then came the Toyota people. So this is where the lean word came into picture. The actual credit goes to Toyota people for implementing. The word lean was introduced by these people. And so just to kind of give you a quick background about this, uh, Toyota, like we all know, understand it's a Japanese company. These guys, like post Second World War, they were like completely devastated. Everything had like because of the bombarding, thing had crippled. The economy had crippled. The entire country would have gone and like would have gone bankrupt. And with these guys had no natural resources. They still don't have those natural resources like oil and all. So these guys only had the only natural resources, which was coastline fishing business. But as a country, they had less of capital, less of resources, infrastructure wise, they were crippled. The only option they had, and to compete with big giants like Ford, GM Motors at that point of time, was to compete them in terms of quality because they could not compete. They could not produce the with the same rate which Ford was producing because they had no limitation of capital and anything. Toyota had big challenges in terms of everything. So they just decided whatever we will manufacture, it will be just centric to quality. So creating best out of nothing was the logic. If you, with limited resources, can we create a product which will be specifically designed for the end customer? Let we can only beat these big giants by quality, and they did it. So not just Toyota people, like everyone in the Japanese world, this is what these guys mastered, the logic of lean. They implemented the logic of lean and they became their product. They started eating up market share of Ford and General Motors and everyone, and they became like they were preferred by everyone. The only biggest constraint was the capital. Investors started flooding money because their cars were more reliable, less warranty claims, they were cheaper. Investors have no loyalty. They will put in money where they get benefit. These guys started producing on mass scale also because thanks to their lean logic, they were able to get something better in the market, and customer loved Toyota cars. Even till date, in reliability, there's nothing better than Toyota. They are great in terms of maintaining it, and thanks they just look into lean. They're not into Six Sigma. Just focus on obvious challenges, which is lean. World was fine with 80-85% quality. Getting to a 99% kind of quality was a phenomenal thing for the world to and experience this kind of quality. Is that possible? Well, definitely. Toyota people, they proved it, they did it, and they were successful in. So practically, all the Japanese companies who were following lean logics, they were doing better, and that sort of what became threat for other companies globally, and that's what gave birth to Six Sigma. That's what Six Sigma started. Because anyone would like to share when did Six Sigma start? If we recall history of Six Sigma.
1915 by Motorola.
Motorola 1986.
1986, yeah, true.
So Motorola in 1986 when this was implemented, but before that, these guys like Motorola was a giant, had complete monopoly in two products. One was pager, the Motorola pagers, and second they were leading in walkie-talkies, which is used by security officials, police, and every. So these guys were so big, they were like even the first moon, the satellite which landed on moon. If you want to Google up, you like check it on YouTube, you'll get the video of the person like who's kind of communicating for the first time from NASA, from moon to NASA. The communication, the video is still there. You can see the walkie-talkie used by the person has a logo of Motorola on it. They were that big. Now these guys started getting tough competition from Japanese counterpart because Japanese stepped into more the pages. The Japanese stepped into more these walkie-talkies, and their walkie-talkies, the pages were much reliable, much cheaper. Customer loved the Japanese product. They started getting tough competition from them, and they were like in a bad shape because investors started pulling out money and pumping the competitors with that money. Well, they were in bad shape. The gentleman who was the owner or like CEO, his name was Bob Galvin, the CEO of Motorola. He gave the task to the two main scientists. Number one, the father of Six Sigma. So that's what father of Six Sigma is Bill Smith, followed by another gentleman who's he was the chief scientist or senior scientist, and the like co-scientist along with him, or I would say assistant scientist. Now he's Dr. Michael Harry, spelled as Mikel. Dr. Michael Harry he along with Bill Smith created this so-called Six Sigma, and they declared it to the world that we have come up with something called Six Sigma, and which can give you 3.4 DPMO, which was unbelievable. That took Japanese by surprise also. That is that also possible? And thanks to this, they regained everything what they lost to the competition, the investors, the money, market share, everything. Their products were phenomenal. Thanks to this, the gentleman Bob Galvin, he was noble soul. He never patented it. He never made a company proprietary information. He made everyone use it. So they invited people from every in the industry to come at Motorola facility, see what is the Six Sigma, how they manage to execute Six Sigma projects, how it is done. They taught the world and they conducted seminars. They pretty much they wanted the industry to benefit. A big industry stepped in, which is ABB, which is still the Asian Brown Bovary, who stepped in. We had Allied Signal, and then we had Honeywell. The big names, much bigger, but in a different sphere, different product. These guys stepped into Six Sigma. They picked up Six Sigma. I guess Dr. Michael Harry was hired by Allied Signal or Honeywell. I guess that's my best understanding uh, for carrying out projects. So he was obviously offered a better package. He moved in, and this guy actually started the first Six Sigma Academy. Even till date, he runs Six Sigma Academy, Dr. Michael Harry. So these guys started implementing Six Sigma. Their returns were even higher than Motorola. They minted money because of Six Sigma projects. Finally, the biggest giant stepped in. Finally, the last one, I would say General Electric. This is where the game changer. These guys made Six Sigma what we know today, thanks to General Electric. These guys like were giants. When they stepped in 1995 time frame, they picked up Six Sigma, and the owner, anyone who knows who was the founder in GE who used Six Sigma, very famous author, writer. Anyone has heard about this name, Jack Welch?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the CEO of General Electric. So this gentleman picked up Six Sigma like in 1995, and they credited Motorola for creating something fantastic, a tool like Six Sigma, which can solve big business problems. The beauty of these people like in General Electric, that see, before General Electric picked it up, these companies used it for themselves. Be it Motorola, they used it for themselves. IBB, Allied Signal, they used it for themselves. They were just confined within that company. General Electric is a big giant. They used it for their clients. They used it. They became consultants of Six Sigma projects, and they helped the other clients, which were not their clients. They just became consultants also. So if you have a problem, you want to solve it with Six Sigma, we will do it for you. They made it popular. They made it big. Well, thanks to the General Electric, earlier Six Sigma, we all have learned Six Sigma in 5 different phases: DMAIC, DMAINC. So this measure, analyze, improve, control. This is all statistical. This was the original version of Six Sigma. Before GE picked it up, Six Sigma had only 4 phases. Only 4 phases. This was General Electric who came and added. This was by General Electric. They add this one. This is all project management. Well, these guys said definitely you guys have created amazing stuff, which is Six Sigma, which is measure, analyze, improve, control. We can solve the problem, and that's why we want to pick it up. But you guys are missing a big trick here, a define phase kind of thing. So they made it DMAC. They said, well, when you're saying measure phase, you have selected, you've decided the project that this is what we will be working on. We are baselining the problem. We'll be collecting data. But how did you decide that that's the problem you should be working on? As an organization, you could have multiple challenges. How did you decide that? So did you do any rationalization? You may be having 20 problems. How did you decide that this is the most important, most critical problem? Sorry, no facts. That's when they say no. The most important thing, you do not have abundance of money, time, resources. There's a scarcity of everything. There's limited resources, limited time, limited budget. You have to find the most important project out of that with the limited resources available to you. So G said the first thing is to select the project, the right project. Everything is a project, but is it worth doing every project? Sorry, pick the most critical one, most suitable, like basis with different criterias. We'll learn and we'll understand about different ways how you should select the project. That's what GE added, and then follow the regular success. So DMAC was created by GE. The D came from General Electric. So that's more of the history per se from Lean Six Sigma. Are we all okay with this, everyone? Any
Yes.
questions? Just wanted to make sure that we have a sort of a storyboard. So you never know who's your recruiter. So we should know that. Anyone, any questions? Okay, is it okay? Shall we take a 10 minutes break now? Be back in 10 minutes from now. Is it okay with everyone? That's been the ritual for these batches.
Yes.
Okay, so let's be back in 10 minutes and we'll resume from there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need coffee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Sure.
All right. So are we back from the break?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
Yes.
perfect. Perfect. So we shall start now. So the next thing that we will be covering up is basic understanding. So like when we talk about Six Sigma implementation, how does it happen? What is the logic or reasoning behind the Six Sigma implementation? So we will be talking about the management framework, how Six Sigma gets implemented. We already know the different phases, which is D, M, A, I, and C. Now, I would definitely need some help from you all to understand what do we do in every phase? What is the purpose of every phase? What is the purpose of define phase? Anyone?
For the defined phase, I think you need to have the business case, or why do you need the project? You have to define the problem, and
Okay,
you
perfect.
also need to state the objective of the project. Um, and at the same time, you need to state the team organization or composition
Perfect. Perfect.
and
Mention.
timeline. Yeah.
Perfect. You're correct.
And I
Okay.
think it's CTQ, like
Yeah.
critical
Perfect. That's correct.
quality,
Yes.
CTQ, and then the customer um, customer
Voice of customer.
yeah, voice to customer also can be part of like
That's right.
customer
Okay,
voice.
that's perfect. So that's what we were talking about. Everything that we're talking about here can be boiled down to selection of right project.
Correct.
Now, in the measure phase, what is that we do? We have selected the project. We know what the problem we'll be solving. Is it if it's a quality problem or customer satisfaction which needs to be improved, or for that matter, a revenue need that needs.
Either business, either process, customer, any problem, we just try to find out from.
Yeah. So in measure phase, what do we do? We've decided the project. What do we do in measure phase?
We measure the metrics and we measure the range of the problem or issue. All kind of metrics we measure.
We measure the as-is
I
process
think you need to have the data collection plan.
And data collection
Measure
plan.
the
Yeah.
as-is project. Yeah.
Okay, data collection plan, which is correct.
Check the data whether it is reliable or not. We have
Perfect. I
to
was
cross
waiting for
verify.
that word. Yes, reliable data. So that's absolutely correct. You decided the problem. You know the problem, what you will be working on. The management is clear. Given you a go ahead, go and solve the problem. We are okay with it. Your business case, your problem statement, everything that you said in define phase, management has said, go ahead, solve the problem. Measure phase, you need to collect data because Six Sigma is about data-driven study, analysis. So data needs to be collected. And thanks, the word is reliable. We are looking for reliable data so that I can trust, I can perform my analysis. And yes, it has to be authentic. It has to be reliable. Otherwise, my entire project will go in the wrong direction. So the purpose of your measure phase is to collect reliable data for project. So now you've collected data in the measure phase. What do you do in analyze phase?
You need to
analyze the data.
Yes.
And what to say? Define that whether the data is discrete or
you need to do root cause analysis.
Yes.
And then root cause analysis. Yep.
Absolutely. Yes. So you do your
The
statistical testing. Yes.
prioritization.
Yes. Yeah, you'll perform your, so you got your data. Now you need to understand what's wrong with the data. You have to analyze the problem. Where is the problem? Why is it happening? So some statistical, the real analysis, the reason why we Six Sigma professionals are required is to make sure that we bring in the additional, the logic of statistics in the project here. So we perform the statistical testing. So yes, you rightly said, this is about statistically testing or finding out root causes, which is why we are facing the problem. When you find the problem, see, the lean works when you know the problem, you have a solution. Six Sigma is the zone where you do not have a problem, like you don't know why it's happening. and then you need this statistical tools to tell you exactly that this is the problem. If you know the problem, you always have a solution. The problem in case of a Six Sigma project is that you have no idea why the problem is happening. So to find the problem, we do the statistical testing, we find the root causes. Now, improve phase. What do we do in improve phase?
Implement the solution on pilot scale first.
Yes, yes, improvement solutions. That's correct.
And validate your processes,
Absolutely.
whatever you redefined, or maybe
Perfect. Validate the improvement, whatever you have achieved. So you implemented solution, so you know the problem, you decide the solutions. Okay, let's do this, let's do this. You make a list of the solutions which can be implemented. You implement those solutions, and then you check, did it solve my problem? And how do you do it? Again, you do statistical validation. You test it statistically to check whether the problem has been solved or not. So here again, so implementation of solution is what you do, implementation and validation of project solution, project problem, basically validation of solution. Now, in the control phase, which is the last phase, what do we do here?
Sustain the.
You need to identify the risk, the failure mode effect analyses. You need to do the control plan.
Now we will ensure that the process is stabilized and ensure
yes,
that
stabilize the process exactly.
and then that new process has been set up for the rest of the operations.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Sustain the improvements. You have improved something. The beauty of Six Sigma projects is that when you improve something, we don't go back to the stage where we started from. So it's improved, it stays improved. That's why we need Six Sigma projects. There's no fun in improving something and then after 6-7 months you start seeing the problem once again. Sorry, that's not what Six Sigma projects do. We improve something, it will always stay improved thanks to the control phase. So sort of beauty about this control phase is all about control charts. The primary thing that we do here is control charts, implement control charts or statistical control charts, so we call it as SPC charts. Now, SPC charts came in 1920s. This was introduced by Dr. Walter Sheward. Dr. Walter Sheward in 1920s. They were successful. They were implemented. They were used in every possible industry. And Six Sigma people in 1986, they just copied this entire statistical process control charts and made it a control phase. So there was nothing fancy done in the control phase. They used a previously tried, tested, and a proven technique, which was adopted in implemented in 1920s, and then every industry was using the control charts. Statistical process control charts were already in practice. In 1986, they just made it a phase. Simple as that. This is the basic fundamental way we implement DMAIC framework. Now, if I talk about a basic, like in a real world situation, what do we do? We If we talk about DMAIC, how does it get implemented? You look for a real world problem. So you have a real world problem, some business problem, which you look at, you analyze it. So you want to summarize this, how what we're doing here in a DMAIC or Six Sigma project, how do we work? So we look at a real world problem, be it a cost, quality, turnaround time, any problem. We convert that into a statistical problem. Now this statistical problem is analyzed, tested, and you convert that into a statistical solution. Now this statistical solution is implemented, tested, verified. When you know that it's working, then you implement real world solution. So that's what you go and you implement in real world. So in a traditional approach, you will have a problem, you will think about some solution and you implement directly. Here you bake in these two additional steps in between. You convert, you validate, you verify it's working, and then you implement it. So you have a proven technique, you have a proven solution, you know it will work. That's how Six Sigma projects are successful, and we are able to be sure that now whatever we're implementing, we will get results because we already know it's working in the prior stage. So that's more about a DMAIC framework. Now, DMAIC framework is used only when there is an existing process. Either the process is doing okay, but I feel I can do better. I will implement a DMAIC framework. Or a process is doing bad, horrible, and we have a challenges, customer complaints, escalations, we're not meeting targets. There is existing process still. We need improvement. So bottom line, whenever we talk about process improvement, we are going to implement DMAIC. We will always implement DMAIC whenever we talk about an existing process, we will implement a DMAIC. Now, that's what is the base of Six Sigma projects. 99% of the time, you will be implementing a DMAIC framework only. But yes, in a black belt kind of world, yes, you would take it to the next level. That's when we talk about DFSS. DFSS stands for Design for Six
Six
Sigma.
Sigma.
Now, DFSS can further be bifurcated into two types. So I'll sort of put everyone on mute. Just want, I guess somebody's like we have some music going on. So just gonna put everyone. If you have to kind of speak up, like do unmute yourself. Right now, just trying to put everyone on mute right now. Okay. Now DFSS is can be further classified as DMADV. This is define, same thing, define, measure, analyze, design, and verify. And there's another version which is IDOV, which is identify, design, optimize, and verify. Now, when do we use a DFSS method? Now, this is where we already starting at six.
We will be validate or verify. Both are same, right?
With same stuff. I get different nomenclatures. Bottom line, we're doing the same stuff.
Okay.
So we already starting at Six Sigma level. Now, when do we use a DFSS method?
DFSS is used when the process is already improved and when we are moving to the digitization stage or something like that, like completely changing to a system perspective.
Yeah, so it's more of when you're creating. So when we are talking about improving something, then it's a DMAIC.
It's a new process.
Yes. When you create a new process, product, or service as per client requirement, you need DFSS. Something new is being created. It's not what you are in improvising. No, you're creating just taking a simple example just to make sure we understand the basic logic, and then we'll further differentiate between DB and IDOV. But entirely DFSS, what does it work on? Say I have a software, and that software has certain functionalities. Now it's been working fine. All of a sudden, my boss or my client comes back and says, "Shashi, I need you to give me these extra reports, this report, that report, and this functionality, that functionality." Sorry. Unfortunately, whatever you're looking for, I cannot provide that, because my software that we are using uh, has certain limitations. We probably still working in old age traditional software. What you're looking for is advanced, something like latest. Sorry, these functionalities, these features cannot be provided in this current software. If you need that additional reports, additional features, sorry, we need to create something new just to meet your requirements. So we will collect your requirements, we'll analyze those requirements, and we'll create a product just to meet your requirement. So in this case, I'm not improvising my existing software. I'm taking your requirements, I'm analyzing them and creating the product as you demanded. So this is creation of something new. We did some DFSS project for a bank where they wanted to increase the sales of the credit cards, the loans. You can do this product any given day. People are using this is bread and butter for people in research and development. People who are in research and development, they work on DFSS method because you have to build a new car which will be faster, which will be more cost effective, which will be giving you better mileage, and would have a better safety. Well, new requirements, something new. When something new is required, you go for the DFSs, and the tool which we actually end up using is design of experiments. This is statistical designing of the product. The product, service, whatever we talk about, process is designed statistically. So we'll be covering the design of experiment part in our course. We'll come to that later stage, but yes, this is what is used in creation of your DFSS mode. Is it goes through design of experiment. So technically, here in this case, DFSS is used when you're creating something new, which is not there, and technically you're looking at your customer's requirement and you creating something new. Now, what is the basic difference between DMADV and IDOV? Now, that's what we need to understand. When we talk about DMADV, it is basic differences, the whatever the product or service, whatever we are working on, it is new for the company but not for the world. Like say Apple. I don't like, honestly, I'm not an Apple user, Mac user, but I don't think Apple comes with a flash drive, pen drive. I don't think so. My best understanding says they're not into pen drives or hard disks. Tomorrow Apple decides that we will also venture into this new segment. Will start manufacturing pen drives, will start manufacturing hard disks. Well, is it new for the company? Yes, definitely yes. Is it new for the world? No, there's a lot of companies already there who are manufacturing this. So it's new for the company but not for the world. That's when we go for DMADV. If you want to venture into a new product which is new for you but not for others. IDOV is when you are actually going for invention. It's new for the company, and for the world. COVID vaccines. When the first COVID vaccines were created, technically we had nothing called COVID before. So we know the COVID vaccines. First level of this is real research stuff which is going on. We don't have any reference, anything to look at. We're designing something. All those research lab work going on, people mixing those chemicals and stuff. You're trying, testing, all that stuff. Bottom line, there's no relevance, nothing to look at. That's what we go for IDV. This is actual research and development. This is something we have at least some reference to look at. So IDOV is absolutely the new invention part. This is something I wouldn't say invention, but you have a reference to look at. People are, so nowadays now the new COVID vaccines which will be made now, they will go for a DMADV because there are already some players in the market who have already started manufacturing those COVID vaccines. So the first level, yes, definitely they went for IDOV because there was nothing in market before that. So that's the basic difference. But bottom line, both of them will go through DOE, which is design of experiment. We generally call this as DOE. Highly statistical, very confusing, but we'll try to make sure that it is understood. Because if you will learn about DOE, you'll fall in love with DOE. It's so interesting, it's so meaningful, and you don't have to do everything. Just a DOE, your job is done. Practically, it covers everything. But yes, a little tricky to get going. But yes, when you learn this, you would not feel like doing anything else. It's the easiest, probably I would say easiest thing to get into is do a design of experiment, get over with it. Bottom line, your problem solved. Completely statistical, but yes, we'll come to that stage. But yes, basic difference between your DMAIC and DFSS framework is that what we discussed. Now, questions on this? Anyone has any questions? Okay, all right. So let's move on to the next thing, which is various belts and roles. So we are doing the black belt program right now. But what are various belts? What are the roles in an organization? What they have to do? So generally, it starts with a white belt. We have a yellow belt. We have green belt. I'll just put green belt and black belt next to each other, just to make sure we can draw out differences between green belt and black belt. And let's get green belt here. Okay, and then you have master black belt, and that's where the journey ends. There's nothing beyond that, but yes, we would just definitely be talking about champion, which is not a Six Sigma professional. Some people do make this blunder by saying Six Sigma, like champion also a Six Sigma professional. No, that's not. With the end, the journey ends here. In terms of Six Sigma team, that's the belts, that's the last belt that we have. Now, let's get started with the first one, white belt. What is the white belt? What do they do? Bottom line, white belt is general awareness program. So you can just discuss a case study, explain so that people tomorrow when you want to implement Six Sigma, people would not say, what is this Six Sigma? Is it some judo karate? No, that would not happen. So it's just awareness program, say a couple of hours or 4 hours at the max. Just give them an idea how people have implemented Six Sigma in various industries. Basic, just nothing in terms of DMAIC framework, just a basic information. That's there's no white belt certification as such. People just attend the training and get the certification. No project, nothing called white belt project in the industry. People don't like, but yeah, this is not practiced globally too much. In US, yes, they do practice white belt as the entry level, but globally not too much, because this is not going to get you into, you don't even become a part of a project in at a white belt level because you don't have knowledge about it, just some case study, some story. Yellow belt, very important for us. Generally, this yellow belt program is a 1 day program, or sort of in a corporate, if you're doing a corporate training, it will be a 2 day program, because corporates, depending on uh, how much in depth they want to go for. But generally, a 1 day program. Only in a corporate sector, they go for a 2 days training for yellow belt, extensive one. Now, yellow belts will be active team members. Active team members in the project. You need them. Absolutely, you need them. Why? Because they will be the one who will be doing it. You are the brain behind the project. You are the one who's thinking, managing, strategizing. You're not the doer. You are getting it done. So who will do it? These year levels. They follow your instructions. They understand your language. Why? Because they have gone through 1 day training. They would have been explained about DMAIC framework. They haven't have done anything on that, but they would know what is define phase for, what are the name of the various tools we use in define phase. If we say we are going to do a brainstorming session, so they would know what are the things which you need to keep in mind for brainstorming session. They would when we have to say set up a communication plan, they would understand what is a communication plan. You talk to them about project charter, they will understand. They can't do it, yes, but they would know various tools and techniques. Say we are going to do a like a 7 quality control tools. They would understand there is a fishbone diagram, there's a scatter plot. They would know that, but not in terms of executing it, but they would understand your the language that you use in Six Sigma world. So that's more about yellow belts. There's no yellow belt projects as such. There's no yellow belt but yes, you need them for the projects. They will be the one who will be working on it. uh, Green belts projects are either a green belt project or a black belt project. So these are the project leaders who lead the project. A green belt who lead a green belt project, black belt who lead both green belt as well as black green belt projects. Uh, Difference in their understanding of knowledge. So project management knowledge will say is same. Both green belt black belt have to carry out the complete project. So the knowledge of managing a project should be same for both of them. So both have to carry out DMAIC. So there's no difference there. Yeah, the difference comes in when you talk about statistical knowledge. Statistical knowledge with I would say this is uh, like low. This is like I would say high here. So that's the basic difference. A green belt project would generally, the average time of green belt project is between 3 to 6 months. That's the time span of a project on an average for a green belt. Black belt project would generally range between 9 to 12 months. They could be like for 2 years, 3 years long project also. But in general, these are the average. More like most projects will be finished between 9 to 12 months in a black belt one. Now, green belts are they would be working within department. So
I'm sorry.
yes,
What are the 3 6 months and the 9 12 months? I
this is
did not get.
expected project duration.
Okay.
So on an average, a project would range between 3 to 6 months for a green belt project. A black belt project would take generally like a longer time frame because they're more complex there. So the work culture is like they work within the department, they work cross-functional. Uh, Green belts will not be 100% project resources. So the ratio is 30/70. Now, what does it mean? They are 100% project resources. So what it means that 30% of the time, 30% project and 70% of department work. So say somebody is was hired as an HR, will still be doing a project within HR department. 30% of the time the person will be doing some HR related projects. 70% of the time person will still be doing the same job for which he or she was hired. Somebody who's in operations will be doing 70% of the operations job, 30% of the project. So you don't work outside the department. You are a subject matter expert for that department. So yes, you have that core functional knowledge of of the department, and that's why you start working on some process improvement within the department. These people are 100% project resources. They work cross functional. Definitely they need green belts to help them. So how does black belt work? Like, so technically a green belt project will be dealing with a project within a department. Black belt projects will be a massive project, which will be a complex one. So you could have projects, say department one, say, I'll just take a simple example. Here we may have a training department, a problem which is ranging and is influenced by multiple departments. Training, say HR is also involved, operations team is also involved, quality is also involved, and sales is also. So multiple, say customer is complaining about something, and that complaint has something to do with the hiring of the people, how people were hired. Probably the people are not good enough, and that's why we're facing the problem. And then they went through some training. So probably training could do a proper justice in training them properly. The way our operational practices are there, the way we maintain the quality, and probably the kind of commitments we made in the sales team, sales work. Probably we have over committed, under committed. We have made some irrational promises to the customer. So practically my project is dealing with multiple stages. This is a complex project, and that's why it takes longer time. Now I'm a black belt, say, and I want to like improve this entire process where my customer is complaining, and all these departments are supposed to be blamed for the challenges. Some in some shape or form, every department is contributing to the problem. I can't be a subject matter expert for every department. Probably my background comes is from cooperation. So I have functional knowledge of operation. So probably I can give my expertise here because I have technical knowledge about operations, but I don't have any knowledge about HR, about training, about quality or sales. Now I need green belts here. So technically, green belts from every department. So the massive project will further be broken down into multiple green belt projects, and overall, so they will be managing their projects within the department, and this massive projects will be these green belts will further be reporting to the black belt. So black belt will cannot be the subject matter expert. You can't become Google. So practically, the black belt may not have technical knowledge about every department, and honestly I don't need it, because say we today you working in a, like I say, you're working as a consultant. Today you're working in a chemical industry, next day you're working in an IT industry, next day you're working in a like a pharmaceutical. Well, doesn't matter. Do you really need to be functional knowledge or technical person for those departments? Sorry, I can't. There's so many departments, so many industries. I can't be a subject matter expert for everyone. Yes, what I know is a project management, which is applied everywhere. What I know is quality management, which is applied everywhere. What I know is a statistical testing, which is already there. Technical.
Sir, question.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but for selecting a black belt project, aside from the cross-functional criterion, are there any other criteria that we can actually consider for us to say that a certain project is a black belt project? Because as I can see here, it's more when the project is more of a cross-functional in nature, we can actually consider it as a black belt project. But are there any other criteria that we can actually consider?
Yes, dollar value, definitely yes. So that will be there's no official definition as such for something called a green belt or a black belt project, but something if it is a very very crucial project, say which is I would say has a like, and different companies have different criteria for say the dollar
Mm,
value, which is like say
yeah.
some company like a General Electric. This is kind of published number. So dollar value for them, a green belt project is less than $10 million worth of project is a greenbelt project, and if it's more than $10
Mhm.
million, it's a black. Now that cannot be a criteria for every organization. So who
Correct.
decides the criteria? The company itself, the management, the stakeholders will decide what we call as a green belt, how big is the impact basis that. So this is only for General Electric, this which is published. But yes, different companies, a small scale company will have a different criteria. So this is
You're
also
right.
one of the
Yeah.
criteria practically.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Also, another question. When you do a green belt project, is there any tendency that at the middle you you might change the project from a green belt to a black belt project because you discover something like
Absolutely.
the potential financial impact, the cross functionality of the project?
Yes, 100%. And projects are iterative and are
All right.
progressively elaborated. So
All
they
right.
will see things will change. This is no hard and fast rule. See, things we would never ever know in the beginning. Yeah, we can anticipate certain things, but as we move
Mhm.
progress, so if we go by the project management practitioners, the PMP guide, that also tells you the project is picked up for a specific purpose, and they are always iterative. And as you approach the project, you carry out the project, you can get to learn more about it. And yes, it will go through change, and then we will talk about that change. How do you uh, switch that project from green belt to black belt? What is the mechanism again prescribed by project management that is going to go through the project, this communication plan that we talked about, which we will be covering, in which is the communication plan. This is the proper process how we define how changes will be communicated, the process changes, how it will be communicated, who will do it. So we'll learn about that. But bottom line, uh, there is a process. Yes, processes will see a change. You can't be absolutely correct about your predictions from day one. It
All
keeps
right.
getting evaluated every phase, or whenever the need arises. Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Valid
Thank you,
question.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
So more like that's the basic difference between a green belt and a black belt. And having said that, like variations you could definitely see from one company to another. This is more like a standard for which is practiced across industry, best practice. Now things can vary here and there. Even green belt project could take about a year also, but yes, more like this is what it generally falls into this particular range. Now, being it a green belt or black belt, once you like say technically a project will be carried out by green belt and black belts. uh, when you have done projects, multiple projects as black belt, at least a minimum of say 10 to 12 projects minimum you would have done. If you have done, you become eligible to sit through the exam, or for that matter, again, there's no criteria. Different companies are there who will just take you to the master black belt directly also. But as an industry practice, generally you must have done at least 10 to 12 projects in different industries, different departments. You would be acting as a mentor. So master black belt, there's no master black belt project. This person is more of a mentor or a guide who will be carrying out at one point in time. A master black belt would be managing at least 10 to 12 projects uh, with the help of green. So either some green belt or black belt projects. So even a green belt or black belt would be, so there'll be like a team of green belts and black belt with this guy would be sort of managing. Uh, but before you do that, yes, and this is the number of projects you would have carried out. This is more of a mentoring, like you would be acting as a guide to them, but you should have carried out a project, at least 10 to 12 projects in different departments, different industries, uh, so that you have cross-functional knowledge about various, and should have training experience. More like most of the companies where they take the certification, they ask for minimum a certificate which says a training experience of at least 80 hours. That is the when you get eligible to go for a master black belt certification. So these two criteria, once it's clear, it's fulfilled, then you can go and sit through the master black belt certification. And then practically you just act as a guide, where see a green belt knows how to carry out a green belt project. A black belt also knows it. By the virtue of experience, this master black belt will be able to help them if they get stuck somewhere. The role is more of a mentor or guide, and the next thing is more of a this person will be the mediator between the Six Sigma team and the management. Now that's what. Now, not every organization will have a master black belt. So if there is an organization has just a black belt, then the black belt will be directly dealing with a. But if you have a proper matured organization, they will have all different levels. You will have a master black belt who will be coordinating with the management. But practically, not all every company has a master black belt. So in that case, only black belt will be directly coordinating with the champion. Or for that matter, if they don't have a black belt also, then a green belt will be coordinating with the champion. But in a proper organization, yes, you will have these levels clearly defined. Uh, Moving on to the next one, which is champion. The most critical person for us in a project is champion. Now, champion is someone who has nothing to do with Six Sigma. So this person may be a Six Sigma green belt, maybe a Six Sigma black belt, maybe a Six Sigma master black belt, or may not be anything altogether. No need of champion being having a knowledge of Six Sigma. Who is this person? Generally, head of department. Now that's what is the role of champion. Uh, you will be solving the problem for this person. This champion is the most critical person because he's sort of your client who has a problem and for which you are solving the business problem. So probably if an operations head or HR head or finance head, marketing head, anyone who is the stakeholder here for you and for whom you're going to solve a problem in that department, that will be more of a champion role. Now, this person will be responsible for project success or failure. Now that's where it's a weird thing. So technically, what will happen? This guy has some problem, and in the department, you want to fix this, and would have tried and tested some means to solve the problem, but the problem is not getting fixed. So what this guy does is he would be coordinating with the Six Sigma team to help them solve the problem. Now, whatever happens during the coordination between the champion and the Six Sigma team, this guy will approach the sponsor, and the role of a sponsor is to simply fund the project. No other role. Just give the money. So this guy, champion, will be the one who will convince the sponsor that there is a need of doing a project and we need funds for this. Bottom line, this guy will simply allocate the funds. This guy is like a senior person in the management. Now, who is answerable for this part? Because technically this guy would ask you what have you done, what is the ROI? All the answers have to be given by the champion. So that's why this champion will be most critical person, because he or she would be the one who will be answering to those questions, and the sponsor would be asking, and responsibility lies on this person. So the project review, approval, denial will be done by champion. Now, champion will be the one who will be going through every phase and review. So we call as toll gate review. Toll gate reviews are when measure phase, like define phase ends, measure phase ends, analyze phase ends. Whenever the review, management review will happen at end of
Your
every.
voice is breaking. It's only for me.
Just good to know. Is it okay?
No, I think it's the speaker is clear. Sir Shashi is clear.
Probably could be temporary, I guess. There.
I think it is because of the internet connections are stable, unstable, maybe.
Yeah, so
right.
could be a temporary one. Okay. So whenever the toll gate reviews will be done, will be carried out, this guy will be the one whom we will be interacting. So we say we done the define phase, we submit the project. This is the one. This guy will be the one who will be reviewing the project. A sponsor may or may not be, because technically sponsor will be coordinating only with the champion. Sponsor will not be directly communicating with the Six Sigma team. This person will be communicating and will be at least then reporting to the sponsor. This is what is happening. This is what is happening. So technically, entire reviews will be carried out by the champion. So what we must do is we must always keep this person on our side. Bottom line, that's what you got to keep in mind. Keep this person in confidence. Now, why we saying this? Because if there is any roadblock, this guy will get us funds, resources, anything that you need for the project will be provided by this person. If you have any roadblock, bottom line, there's a problem in the project, somebody was supposed to join your project, is not helping you, is not giving you time, you needed a project, you got people in your project, but now somebody's from a different department who was supposed to come, and this person is giving you a tough time. You're not getting proper support. Well, you don't need to kind of spoil your relation with anyone. Bottom line, inform the champion. That's what is the role. If there is any roadblock, this guy will help you solve that. This guy needs to be kept in confidence. It should not be a story that about the project related issues, this person gets to hear it from someone else. You must make sure that whatever is happening in your project, this person should be always kept in loop. Because if you have, technically this person has vested interest in your project, he wants the project to be successful. So if you have any problem, it is this person's problem. This person will get it solved for you. Make sure there's nothing hidden from champion. Champion is a very, very key person for us, and we'll get it done, because the position this person holds in the management will be the key criteria. We will get our work done easily. If we are facing a problem, let the champion solve it for us. That's what we should keep in mind. Now, that's the hierarchy. The department that we generally join in Six Sigma, they're referred like different companies have different nomenclature, but process excellence department is what we generally refer them as operational excellence or business excellence. So these are most common name for Six Sigma departments, which you generally hear, but there could be different variations, but most common ones are these. Now, you could definitely see here different companies can come up with different nomenclature, which is absolutely fine, but most common is process excellence department. Now, that's pretty much about the bells and rules. Anyone has any questions on this one? Any questions? Because we'll be left with one more topic, which is in the introduction part, and probably with that will end up today's session. Tomorrow, yes, definitely we'll start with the defined phase altogether. So one more topic is definitely left out, but yes, any questions anyone has?
Yes, sir. Along with this green belt and black belt, if we have done the certification course, it's a certification course. Any mandatory qualifications which makes you qualified as a green belt or black belt?
No additional qualification, no additional certification. But yes, if you have additional PMP certification, it helps better. It helps in the market. You technically it helps. It impacts your paycheck, because PMP certifications do matter a lot in the market. So yes, if along with say Six Sigma certificate, Six Sigma is it's okay, and technically there's nothing more required. But if somebody has a PMP certification as well, that gives more confidence to the recruiter to hire somebody with a PMP certification added on it, because you have extensive knowledge of project management in that case. So it will be good to add on a PMP certification. See, the couple of things which goes easily with Six Sigma is one is a project management, another is an ISO 9001, at least bare minimum, which is quality management. Basically, it's a basic like ISO 9000, which is standard for everyone. So anyone who is into quality arena, process improvement, should at least have in some time, definitely should try and plan for an ISO 9001 and something on project management, be it a Prince2 or a PMP certification, because PMP, there is certain eligibility criteria also, which may not be like if you need some project management experience. So if there are a lot of people who may want to do it may not be eligible for it also. Even if you want to write the exam, you can't, because there's some criteria which you need to qualify. So that's additional stuff. Yeah.
So any
Right, sir.
experience in the Lean or Six Sigma with Six Sigma green belt or yellow belt, is it required for the
No,
black
nothing
belt?
as such. Nothing as such.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, question. Let's say, for example, in a company you have black belt and a couple of green belts. Can we do internal certification in
Yes.
the organization?
100% yes. And
All
so
right.
hierarchy wise, the most widely accepted and most like respected certification is the institutional organization certificate globally. The most respected one is that. Like people from General Electric, GE, we talked about General Electric, they don't go for any other certification. They have internal certification criteria, and the only thing is there you get the certification when you've done a project. There is no exam that you write in such an organization level
Mhm.
thing. So you go through a training, and after training you complete a project. If your project is successful, then you are awarded the certificate, and that
All right.
is practically the number one position for any certification option.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. And yes, pretty much the last thing, when to implement a Six Sigma project. So you may have knowledge of Six Sigma, but when to implement Six Sigma is a basic thing we got to keep in mind, because if you know Six Sigma, it doesn't need that you will implement Six Sigma every time. So we will say there's basic thing which we have to kind of basically understand. One is lean and Kaizen. There's one block, and the second block is Six Sigma. Now, when do we implement lean or Kaizen? We'll talk about that. And then when we implement a Six Sigma. So lean is, we've already talked about lean. What is the meaning of lean? So before I write down like lean part, I'll say lean management and Kaizen. So let's kind of differentiate between them, and then we take to the Six Sigma part. Lean and Kaizen, technically lean, Kaizen is also a lean thing. So the Kaizen is nothing different from lean. It's a part of lean. So how do we implement lean is the question. Now, what is Kaizen? We'll understand it. So first thing first, the purpose of both of these is to reduce waste, eliminate waste. We talked about lean. The same definition applies here. Lean management is when top management decides in this case. So the decision is done by the top man. Those 5, 10 people, the stakeholders will sit together and decide what needs to be done. So it's a top bottom approach. Top bottom approach in case of lean or Kaizen. No, lean, just the lean part. So management decides and they sort of implement those strategies. So they will be conducting a lot of training, cross trainings. So upskilling needs to be done. So reward recognition is all part of it, making it a performance metric. Like all this is supposed to be done by the management to implement lean. When you want to implement lean, you have to ensure that people are sensitized. See, it's a human tendency that we tend to hesitate change. We oppose change. So whenever there's something happening which is changing, changes are happening in organization, people tend to oppose it. So it's very important before you go for implementing lean, you need to create the culture. That's the responsibility of the management, to create the culture. When I come from my job, say I have a 9 to 5 kind of job, I start at 9, I like end my shift at 5 o'clock. It should be the mindset, like it shouldn't be a mindset where come to work and I start seeing how many hours are left. No, sorry. In that kind of culture, lean or Six Sigma, nothing can flourish. You have to create the culture when people are excited to come to work. When I come to work, I will think about what additionally can I learn today? What changes can I bring in today? Bottom line, the change of the mindset is required. For that, the entire responsibility lies with the management. So all this stuff, you need to empower people, you need to skill people. The skilling empowerment has to be done so that the mind gets sensitized. They understand what is the value around these things. It's not just another task. You will be benefiting, you'll become a better professional. That's more of the lean part. Management does it. This Once you have in management has invested the time and money in the people, then we move on to Kaizen. Kaizen is bottom top approach. So here the ground level staff picks up initiatives. Now Kaizen is towards Kai plus Zen. Kai means change, and Zen is for betterment. So basic logic of Kaizen is, first of all, Kaizen never fails. You this is carried by a like a ground level staff, a machine operator, somebody who's absolutely ground level. Here you had how many, like say maximum say 7 to 10 people who are top management, who are driving the strategies and everything. Here you probably have thousands of people who are your workforce, ground level staff. You have now 1,000 stakeholders who have owned the process. Somebody just working machine operator, he has owned the machine. It's my responsibility. I will do something better. So people, these kaizens are not like 6 months project, not 1 month project. These are 1 day, 2 day, 3 days projects. That is all. And say we decide something. Logic of kaizen is incremental change, incremental change. And people just say, always say, remember this, continuous improvement. That is wrong. Never say kaizen. People will talk about continuous. This is wrong. Kaizen is continual improvement. Continual and continuous has a big difference. This is what Kaizen works on. Continuous is this. This is continuous. No, it has beginning and it has end, and it's continuous. But it ends. No stoppages. Continuous. Continual is this. Never ending. Never ending. Small changes. Small, but never ending. That's Kaizen. Kaizen is continual improvement, never ending. Continuous means beginning and end without stoppages. Kaizen is never ending desire. So bottom line, you decided, you figure out there is a problem and you can solve it. You implement it. There's no big deal about it. No planning, nothing as such. You decide something, you do it, and you learn from it. Okay, bottom line, you were expecting 100% result. Oh, you got only 1%. Great, Kaizen successful. But that's not a failure. Logic behind Kaizen is tomorrow should be better than today, even by 0.00 whatever 1%. Still, it's good. You better. You have learned something. It's better than yesterday. That's the logic about Kaizen. Small incremental, but now everyone is adding these small changes every day. It's a massive change. Management can sit and relax. You have thousands of stakeholders who own the process. Now they will look after your process. Don't worry about it. Kaizen, okay, well, you didn't get 100% result. You just got only 1% result, or 0.1% or 0.001%. Great. What's next? Never ends. So you never fail in Kaizen. Kaizen never looks at result. Kaizen is a process about doing it. Kaizen is about the path, the journey, not the execution. Well, you implement, okay, you probably may not get the result. What's next? What's next? What's next? That's what it works on. So ground
Sir,
level stuff, yes.
question.
Yeah.
For the Kaizen and the lean management, are there any instances like the Kaizen becomes part of the strategy at the lean management? Because at the lean management, it's more of the strategy from top management decision. Are there any instances where Kaizen becomes part of that strategy from the lean management?
Yes, to drive Kaizen, for see, every management wants to implement Kaizen later on because they want to get rid of that baggage of leading the responsibilities. Honestly, everyone wants Kaizen to be implemented where everyone in the organization is doing something constructive every day, making it a better deal. But bottom line, that will not happen unless and until you have invested in them.
Yeah.
Once
So
train
still,
them, once you skill them, just sit and relax. They will take care of your business. So this will
all
happen
right.
only if you have done this.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you. So we will not sort of move on to the Six Sigma part of it, keeping the time constraint in mind. So will this is something which we'll sort of park it for tomorrow. But yes, that's basic difference between lean and Kaizen. And it's just when we talk about the lean part of it, we'll again touch base on like lean tools. We'll learn about the bottom line. Kaizen also becomes stagnant at one point in time. So whenever Kaizen, we'll talk about like we'll learn about Kaizen and Kaikaku. So we'll come to that stage. So Kaizen and Kaikaku, that's what is referred. So when we talk about Kaizen, these are small incremental changes. Kaikaku is radical change. We are referring to Six Sigma. So technically, this is what I sort of try to draw this. With the lean, we sort of improved something. With Kaizen, now we slowly get better, but now we're not getting any more results. So we again look for new Kaizen. We sort of get better, but then we don't start seeing results. Now we need some radical change. We implement Six Sigma. That's what it takes it to now. Then again go for Kaizen. So whenever you look for these steep changes in the process, you go for Kaikaku. We are referring to Six Sigma. This is where, so this is going to be embedded. Whenever you go for these radical change in performances, Kaizen is small, gradual changes. But whenever don't see results coming from Kaizen, then you go for radical change of Six Sigma, and then again stabilize it with Kaizen. So it will, they lean in Kaizen can't be separated today. They work hand in hand. Both will work together at the same time. So when we will learn about when to implement, when to start with Six Sigma, when to start with lean. So when we start the definers, we'll know when to get your lean started, because both will work parallelly. Lean and Kaizen both will work Six Sigma both will work on parallelly, and they will never conflict. They will always help each other. So that's pretty much on today's part. But yes, on the Six Sigma front, we'll just a small bit of thing which is left over, but just don't want to rush through it. Tomorrow when we'll meet together, so most likely we will cover up the defined part, tools and techniques which we are yet to cover, and then we'll take it up from there on Monday. So any questions from today's topics, if you have any, please feel free to ask. Else I will sort of any which was share this file in the Google Drive that I shared.
Okay, so I have one last question. So,
Yeah.
Kaikazen, Kai Kako, and
Kaikaku.
Six Sigma are the same. It's only the terminology change.
Yeah, so Japanese, so Kaikaku is about some radical change. It could be automation also. Something radical change. When you see it has become stagnant, it's not giving you the desired result. Then you need a radical change. The basic tools may not work. You need to bring about a change in the way things are supposed to be done. Then you go for Kaikaku. Sorry,
Some
yeah.
digital initiatives and all will come under
Absolutely.
the Kaikaku.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else has any other question? Okay. All right.
Sir,
Yeah.
No question, but I missed that for initial invite today. I joined later on.
Okay. So I will sort of reshare these links with everyone. Please do make a note of these links. So this is the first link, which is for the study material, like the data files, templates that we'll be looking into. So I will be adding more material in this, which will be added in a different folder, but within this same folder. So please make a note of right now this folder is there. Please download it on your local drive. So you don't have to keep going to the Google Drive every time. But yes, do download this entire folder. I'll create another folder where I'll add more material, some books and stuff like that, which is like some additional stuff, but it'll be in a different folder. So for now, this folder is complete. You can download it, and technically, let's pick up the next file, next folder. So this notes that I'm working on. I'll keep updating these notes. So today we're done with the session. So I will place this notes in this Google Drive. So every time the session ends, I'll keep placing the file in this Google Drive here. So the updated files will keep getting updated here. So that's the link. And finally, and in each case, you get the Excel file, you get all the link here in this file itself. You just need to make of these two notes, these two links. That will be sufficient.
So
are we all good with this?
Yeah. So Google Drive, how I'll get access?
You just need to click on it. These are open links. I've shared it in the chat right now.
So I'm not in the WhatsApp group also.
No, so you can just coordinate with your program coordinator. The person will be able to add you to the WhatsApp group, because I'm not even the admin. I have
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Just...
And the Google Drive link, you can just take it from the chat. I just shared it in the chat, both the links, one for notes, another for the material.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everyone. So let's connect tomorrow at the same time, and do take good care of yourself. And if you have any feedback, do let me know. I'll be more than happy to improvise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shash.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.